Let's just jump right in. If you've been putting in the work, trying to get visible abs, but you're just not seeing the results you want, you've come to the right place. Today, we're cutting through all the noise and getting to the real, no-nonsense formula for a strong, defined core. Does this sound familiar? You're on the floor, grinding out what feels like 1,000 crunches, but when you look in the mirror, nothing's really changed. If you've felt that frustration, trust me, you are not alone. It's probably the most common roadblock in fitness, and today we're going to figure out exactly why it happens. In this quote right here from Jeff Cavalier gets straight to the heart of it. This is the big secret, folks. Before we even think about a single exercise, we have to talk about the biggest piece of the puzzle, and that's what you're eating. So let's start by tackling the great ab fallacy. This idea that you can somehow crunch your way to a six-pack. It's a complete misunderstanding of how our bodies actually work. Okay, here's the breakdown. The myth is that doing more ab exercises automatically equals more visible abs. But the reality is much, much simpler. You can have the strongest abdominal muscles in the world, but if they're covered by a layer of body fat, you're just never going to see them. So the real goal isn't just to build the muscle, it's to reveal it. And that brings us to the most critical part of the entire formula. If you want to see your abs, you've got to build your foundation, not in the gym, but in the kitchen. Seriously, diet is everything. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This quote says it all. During a 7-day ab challenge, Samantha March found that the biggest changes didn't come from the workouts alone, but from making small, healthier swaps in her diet. That's a powerful clue right there about what truly matters. So how do you actually do it? Well, Athlean X has a great, simple 5-step plan. Step 1, cut the crap. Pretty straightforward, right? Get rid of the obvious junk food and sugary drinks. Step 2, eat more often. This sounds a little weird, but having smaller, frequent meals helps keep you from getting ravenous and overeating. Step 3, take a second look. This is about making smarter choices, like picking grilled chicken over fried, or water instead of juice. These little things add up. Step 4, make sure you're eating enough of the good stuff. You can't starve your way to a six-pack. Your body needs fuel. And finally, step 5, use supplements to stay consistent, especially when life gets hectic. Okay, so our nutrition is dialed in. Now let's talk about exercise. But we're going to come at it from a totally fresh angle. Forget about getting down on the floor for a minute, because one of the most powerful tools for your core might be sitting in your dining room right now. So why a chair? What's the magic here? It's all about stability and focus. When you're seated, you don't have to worry so much about balance. That lets you put 100% of your attention right where it needs to be, on squeezing and engaging your core muscles. It's perfect for just about anyone. Let's look at a few of these. First up, seated knee tucks. You're going to sit right on the edge of the chair, lean back just a little bit, and then bring your knees up towards your chest. The biggest tip here is to keep your chest lifted and your back straight. That's how you really target those lower abs. Next up, to hit those muscles on your sides, the obliques, you can do a seated Russian twist. Lean back a little and rotate your upper body. Now, the trick is to make sure you're twisting from your core, your torso, and not just flailing your arms around. That's what makes the difference. Then we've got seated leg lifts. Just hold onto the chair for support, straighten your legs out in front of you, and slowly lift them up and down. This move is all about control. Resists the urge to use momentum. The slower you go, the more you're going to feel that burn. And finally, one that looks super simple but is crazy effective. Seated marches. You just sit up tall and lift one knee at a time, like you're marching in place. The whole goal is to keep your upper body perfectly still. This is fantastic for building that deep, stabilizing core strength. So we've got our diet right, and we've got some really effective exercises. But there's a third piece to this puzzle, and it's a big one. How you do the exercises. Your technique is what separates a truly great workout from just wasted time. And what is the single biggest mistake most people make when training abs? It's this. They let their hip flexors take over. You know those muscles at the top of your thighs? They love to jump in and do all the work, especially during things like leg raises, which means your lower abs aren't getting the workout you think they are. So how do you fix this? With one simple trick, the posterior pelvic tilt. I know it sounds technical, but it's super easy. All you do is think about tucking your tailbone under and pressing your lower back flat against the floor or chair. This tiny adjustment immediately shifts the focus away from your hip flexors and puts it right onto your lower abs. It is a complete game changer. And that brings us to a few other common mistakes. Using momentum to swing through reps, That's not helping you. Arching your lower back, that's a dead giveaway your hip flexors are in control. The key for almost every ab exercise is slow, controlled movement with a core that's tight and braced. All right, so we've got the diet, we have the exercises, and we know the right technique. But none of it, and I mean none of it, matters without this final ingredient, consistency. That is what ties this whole thing together. Let's just go back to Samantha's experience one last time. This quote from day 6 says it all. After a day where she felt a little bloated, she doubled down on eating clean. And boom, she saw a noticeable difference the very next day. That's what happens when you combine the right diet with consistent effort. The results show up fast. So what does this look like day to day? Here's your simple checklist. Focus on whole foods. Do short, regular core workouts instead of one giant one. Concentrate on quality reps, not just quantity. And don't forget, good posture is a 24/7 core exercise. Stick to these and you'll build that lasting strength. So when you really look at it, the formula we've laid out, diet first, then smart, controlled exercise done consistently, it's actually pretty simple. It doesn't require any fancy gadgets or hours in the gym. All it really requires is your commitment. So the final question is,